Hello, world. Welcome to Living in the Gray. Do you find that your days are filling up with even more? More everything, all of the time. More work, more family stuff, more messages, more content, more news, more. But the number of hours in a day haven't changed. That said, I have questions on my mind. Where is all of this more stuff leading us to? Do we have a similar or shared version of what the future could look like? Vision of society? Are we advancing technology to our own demise? And is productivity and GDP, is that the end game? Because there's constant talk about productivity and improving productivity. Is there an end game that we agree on? For a while, I've also thought about the possibilities of how across emerging markets, think BRICS, across Africa, Brazil, the Caribbean, how could we be more economically integrated with one another, adding to the global economy and also helping more people in this world thrive? But then what does it mean to even help people thrive at this point? To me, it looks like a world where advanced technology, think AI, takes over running society because we mere mortal humans, we've failed at it. There's too much inequality in the world that continues to grow, yet trillions of dollars are spent on education and healthcare and infrastructure and all of these things. So, how do we do business differently? How do we have technology actually help us in areas where we have struggled? And how do we get our lives back to actually pursue more purposeful and meaningful endeavors? For now, welcome to Living in the Gray, helping people do business and life better across emerging markets to create a more integrated economy that allows us to reclaim our lives back. It's called Living in the Gray because it's about the nuance and the context and the in betweens. We all live in the gray, but this is about doing that better. There are four areas we're going to talk about. The first, business beyond borders. So, borders are constructs, right? They're made up. Think of just the scramble for Africa, where lines were drawn on a map of who the colonialists wanted to take, right? We're going to talk about how to make the trade stack work better for us. More trade, distribution, export import routes. Think of the neural networks of connectivity across our emerging markets and how we can strengthen those. The infrastructure, the tools, the things that are required to just move products and services across borders more efficiently, digitally, and profitably. The second thing then is around reimagining our reality. So, this is really a conversation series where we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's honestly kind of tough, right? So, doing business across emerging markets is really about the trust and relationships. And there are some topics that hold us back from creating a more integrated economy that we need to talk about. So, we're going to talk about the social constructs, the outdated systems, mindsets that we've inherited over centuries, over time, based on our histories. We're going to unpack how these things shape our businesses, our relationships, our realities, and really talk about what does it mean to build differently and to do business better together. It's going to require that we rewire how we think and how we act and ways in which we can build better together. All right, so number three, personal wealth and well-being. What are we doing all of this for if we're not wealthy and healthy, healthy and wealthy? Investing in ourselves is necessary, right, for building more connected economies between us. So we need to take care of ourselves, our bodies, our minds, and our personal finances. If we just focus on the business and we get our relationships great, it isn't going to be effective unless we also take care of ourselves. So we're going to talk about that too. And then last but not least is business basics. 90% of businesses fail within 3 to 5 years. And it's mostly because of poor cash flow management, poor marketing, and lack of product market fit. What does that actually mean? People don't know how to manage the money that they've got. They don't know how to handle or get the word out there about their product or service to have enough people connect with it. And sometimes what people are building doesn't actually fit the needs of the people they're trying to serve. I want to help more businesses thrive and connect across emerging markets, but we need to also have a common understanding of business basics in order to do that. So, we're going to talk about finance and cash flow management, operations and people management, and marketing, but really and more importantly, how can AI tools help accelerate all of these areas? Because again, the point is about how we can reclaim our lives back, not how we can just do more and more and more. That's got to change. So, who am I? My name is Vivian Chinyere Inya. You can call me Chi, you can call me Chinye, or you can call me Chinyere. My journey to this point in time has been personal. So, I grew up as a Nigerian American in upstate New York, always felt between two worlds, never really squarely belonging in one. But what was interesting about that experience was that tension that lay between those two worlds created an opportunity, right? And a sense of desire to create closure, to close the gap. And the idea is, how do we create more integrated economies, right, amongst us and emerging markets globally, with the goal of helping people thrive? We need this now more than ever, especially in the current geopolitical climate. About my background. So I spent the last 16 years really working at this intersection of finance, operations, product development, and marketing, where I consulted and worked for some of the top global organizations in the world, including Ernst & Young and JP Morgan Chase. I was really helping businesses navigate the complexities of different problems, different challenges, and I used my skills to transition into the venture capital world a few years ago with a focus on Africa, but a desire to really connect the continent to other emerging markets. And I've seen firsthand how misaligned priorities between those funding the venture capital firms and those of us funding the founders, the systemic barriers built from colonial times past that really have laid and have an effect on where we are today, overlooked fundamentals and know-how on the business basics hold businesses back. Simply said, the current design of our ecosystem isn't working. We know that, but we need to make more progress in order to help more people thrive in this world. So, most of the business advice, though, out there is somewhat surface level, recycled points that don't necessarily take into account a lot of the local context that we live within. It doesn't really fit our reality, right? And the world is becoming so much noisier by the day, and technology is evolving faster and faster. So, what do we do? Well, if you're an entrepreneur with a small business, or you've got a startup in any emerging market and you're trying to scale up, and you're someone who recognizes the power of an interconnected, integrated economy between more of us, you have come to the right place. What there so many channels, right? So what makes this one different from others is really that we're going to bring ideas together, right? Similar to the body, machine of different elements and pieces, millions of different things that are happening just to keep you functioning. Businesses are a culmination of our life experience. There are historical factors, the context that we live within, our knowledge at the time, the market environment. I want to help bring these different areas together while offering practical tips and tools on how to help you accelerate your business, but also your life, your mind, and more. So we can work together towards a more integrated economy that helps all of us thrive, getting our lives back and out of the productivity trap. Welcome to Living in the Gray.